all of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more. Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace under real freedom, real justice, and real equality.
Powerful hour of truth that dispels falsehood. I'm your host, Brother Daryl Muhammad.
And I'm Sister Deborah Muhammad. Welcome to the Community Defender.
And of course, we have a very powerful show planned for you. We hope that you enjoyed the video which opened, which featured the wonderful and truth-telling voice of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan as we promote the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, 10-10-15, Justice or Else. And I tell you, there's just been so many things going on all over the United States and all over the world that there is a universal cry for justice that is getting louder and louder and louder. And we see that in Waller County, Texas, that the police pulled a black woman over, racially profiling her, and they accused her of doing an illegal signal, and then arrested her, and now it looks like they've murdered someone else, just as they've murdered Victor White III in New Iberia.
That's right.
Apparently, they have murdered a black woman as she was looking for a place to live and had just found a job, and they want to claim once again that it is self-inflicted asphyxiation.
Right. And I was just looking on the internet right before we just came on air. They said that there's a teenager, a black young lady, who the police claim once again after she was arrested that she hung herself. I was just looking for the article again. So once again, here we go. I mean, we have to demand justice. I mean, it's just no other way around it. We've come to a tipping point. No longer can we just sit around and just wait, until somebody gives us justice. No longer can we sit in or stand in or, all of those different things. We have to demand justice or else.
Absolutely. And I would say that as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has said, that there has to be a way that through our unity, we can find a way to hurt our enemies. Because if you can't hurt your enemy, if you can't make your enemy feel the pain, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, to be able to redistribute some of this pain through economic withdrawal, those kinds of things enable us to bring to bear the kind of pain that we can bring to bear in order to force justice to come. But as long as we're disunited, as long as we're gang banging from a class set, or we're gang banging from a religious set, or whatever it may be of the differences that we have that are used to divide us, we'll always be able to be picked off one by one. And so yet another murder where they're calling it a suicide, these things continuing to happen. And as a man, and I'm talking about as a black man, not a Negro, but a black man, I'm looking at, you want to be able as to protect the female that is of your own kind. You want to be able to make sure that the black woman is able to move around without being murdered by your enemies. And it should be enough for you, if you have any kind of dignity as a man, you should want to unify, if nothing more, than to protect the precious black woman's life that we are divinely as men ordained and given charge over protecting the life of our female. So while all of these Uncle Toms are out here trying to apologize for the system, and again, at some point, as a community, we are going to absolutely have to shun these kinds of people. Some of these Uncle Toms are members of churches and actually go to church and are able to go to these churches and not even be accosted or shunned, or nobody does them anything or whatever. They're able to move around, and we know that they betray our people.
Right.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is that there has to be an amount of togetherness for us as a people, that those of us who are for black people begin to come together in such a way that those who would be disloyal are fearful of being disloyal, because they know that there will be a consequence to it. And what it does is it creates a more cohesive black community.
That's right. That's right. Well, upon looking at a little more at the details of this article, it was an 18-year-old girl in Homewood, in the Homewood jail in Alabama, in Jefferson County. Her name is was Kendra Darnell Chapman, and the police claimed that she was arrested for, she was a suspect in a robbery, and that while she was in lockup, that she actually hung herself. That's what they're saying. Now, you know, we had been hearing about the males being killed, you know, by the police and whatnot. It's just interesting that now you're starting to hear these women being accosted. I'm telling you, if you ask me, Brother Daryl, I believe that, you know, it's a situation where, just like during the time of slavery, what they did is that they would bring the men out, and then they would torture the men and kill the men and have everybody look at it, so that could, you know, leave and mark in the mind and make people fearful of acting out, especially the black male. But then, you know, the minister said that in Baltimore and in Ferguson, how the women were stepping up, and how that the women were going out, standing in front of the police and things like this. And now all of a sudden you see a rash of black women being killed, being abused by the police. I'm telling you, this is some kind of psychological warfare that they're trying to play on us, and they're making sure that they place these things prominently in the media in order to do something to the minds of black people, because they know what's coming.
Absolutely. And I would, it has to be a cry for justice or else.
Right.
And not just a cry once we
No, it
come
has to
back
be a
from Washington,
demand.
D.C., then there has to be work. We can't continue to blame white folks for 95% of our problems and spend 98% of our money with white folks.
Right.
You see, we can't continue to spend just $300 million on books and $3 billion on alcohol and spend $13 billion at white folks' casinos. We can't continue to make those kinds of decisions and at the same time claim to have a desire of freedom.
Well, see, that's what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. He said that the war that we're waging is not on one front, it's on two fronts. And one of them is that we must demand from our enemy justice or else. And then two, that we must demand from our own people to stop the killing. We must demand from our own people to, you know, take responsibility for our own actions and for our own communities and whatnot. So it's a war on two fronts. So it's not just enough that, you know, that we ask somebody else to give us justice, or we demand from somebody else to give us justice. We have to give justice to ourselves.
That's right. I have to be just to my brothers and sisters.
That's right. That's what the prayer says.
And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
We justice has to be the cry, not only from without,
That's
but it
right.
also has to be the action that we take within.
That's right.
And you know, when you look at the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, the Nguzo Saba, it talks about collective work and responsibility.
That's right.
Right. So Those are and cooperative economics. We have to begin to look for opportunities to look out for one another and see the value that each of us has to the overall house that is the black nation.
That's right.
The black nation is a house that we all are in charge of looking after. Now, there are going to be some people who come to the table, you know, as we talk about Black Lives Matter, who are going to say all lives matter.
Right.
But all lives are not under attack.
Right.
So you have to be specific. When you have a cardiologist that is working on your heart, well, you want your liver to work well too.
That's right.
You want your ears to work well too. You want your lungs to work well too.
But the heart is the
But if the heart is where the problem is, you address the heart.
That's right.
You see, so that's what we're addressing. We are saying Black Lives Matter because it's the black life that is under attack, and it is the black life. And I just want to say to these mothers and fathers, beware of these vaccinations.
That's right.
Do not let these white folks or misguided black medical personnel stick your babies with these mercury-infused vaccinations, which cause an attack on your nervous system and cause autism.
That's right.
Okay? The doctor who linked autism to vaccines was found dead.
That's right.
There have been 3 naturopathic doctors.
4.
That have been found dead.
That's right.
Because the pharmaceutical company wants to make money, and they will kill you over these kinds of things. They have a pill, what is it, Viagra, Cialis, all of these things. And it's interesting that you have such a sick society that finds a cure for impotence so people can have sex.
Come on.
But hasn't found a cure for cancer so people can have life. You know, so that, I mean, it just lets you know the priorities of this society. But if you eat the right kinds of food, which don't clog your arteries, you won't really have to worry about Cialis and Viagra because your blood will be flowing like it needs to flow.
Right.
But it's the food that we eat. So I would encourage us to eat right. You know, eat right. Your olive oils, your flaxseed oils, those oils which cleanse the aorta and the arteries and get that plaque off of there. You have to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables.
That's right.
You have to eat right, high fiber diet, and going to you know, Church's Chicken is not something you should do every day. Going to Popeyes, not something you should do every day. Burger King, McDonald's, you are on your way to an early grave.
That's right.
When you put those kinds of things in your body that are barely biodegradable, almost like plastic. A McDonald's fry, you can leave that sucker falls down in your car. You can sell your car to somebody else. They can drive in it for 7 years and then it gets sold to somebody else. And that same McDonald's French fry has not biodegraded.
Intact.
You shouldn't put that thing in your body.
Right.
So, and I know it tastes good, but everything that's good to you, as the old people would say, ain't good for you.
Right.
And so there's so much to cover. There's so much as a people that we need to learn, and that is the value of a man like Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
Who gave us a holistic approach to life.
That's right.
To liberty, and to the pursuit of happiness that Thomas Jefferson talked about, but that he established the principles of it. And of course, his principal student, Minister Louis Farrakhan, is of course leading the charge. And I will say this: we have to back a man that's with us.
Come on.
Now, Barack Obama has recently made statements, and he is the first sitting president to visit a federal prison. And we got to give our brother a hand. That's all you need. Because that's good now. Because it's better than what he was doing. And now that he is black and addressing black concerns, we all have to say better late than never. But there is a man who spoke by 1974, he had spoken every federal prison in the United States of America by 1974, and that's the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Come on.
And he's a man who has been visiting jails.
That's right.
Even in his late 70s, going into his 80s, going into jails to see prisoners all this time.
Cook County. And recently when he went down to Belize, he went to
he
the
went
prison.
to a jail.
And that
when he was in
80.
Bermuda,
He
went to a jail.
Uh-huh.
So the thing about it is that's the work of Jesus, to open up the prison houses to them that are bound. And see, a lot of people talk Jesus, but they don't want to go into a prison.
Right.
They wouldn't think about going to Angola unless it was a rodeo. Let's be honest. Or to buy some crap, but never to go in there and to offer comfort to those that are bound. Now, Barack Obama said some very important things. I don't know if we have the graphic of it. But he said some very important things. But some things that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has been talking about for 30 years. And he predicted this mass incarceration. Now, President Barack Obama pointed out something that we have been talking about on the Community Defender, and that is that America is home to 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. And he goes on to say that we could eliminate tuition at every public university in America with the $80 billion we spend each year on incarceration. So if we redirected it, we could have free education. Now in Iran, which of course is supposed to be this rogue nation, they have free education at all public universities. You can go and you can get your master's, you can get your PhD. And some Iranians teach right here in Louisiana with the degrees that they got from Iran. So obviously the education is good because they're teaching our people. Right? They're working at Southern. They're working at LSU. Okay? Iranians with degrees from Iran. Okay? Teaching physics, teaching biology, teaching physiology, and doing a really good job and got their education for free. But what are we? We're in debt in America. We can't go to college without being $100,000 in debt. Some of us, our credit is bad because we went to college for a couple semesters and didn't finish, and we got a debt. Why should the richest nation on earth have debt and spend all this money on mass incarceration? Well, we appreciate what the president has done, the statement that he has made, but I am, as a person who scrutinizes, a little suspect. And look, some of you gonna say you ain't gonna give Barack no credit. Look, I give him credit for doing what a black man with over 1 million of his brothers in jail should do anyway, which is to go into the jail. That's what I've done. That's what a lot of us have done in the nation of Islam. We've been in the jail, and we're happy that Barack Obama has followed us in there. But why now? When he didn't speak for the Ferguson situation, he didn't speak for the Eric Garner situation, he didn't speak for the rash of problems that we've had, and he referred to our young people in Baltimore as criminals and thugs.
That's right.
Why now is he talking about this important issue? It's an important issue, and we're glad he is talking about it. But why now? Why are his handlers allowing him at this late stage to be a black man? Because they wasn't allowing him to be a black man before. Why now? I believe, he may not know it, but I believe he's being advised that he can do this to be a counterbalance against the movement of a man whose term is not going in 2016. He's a counterbalance against Farrakhan. And the enemy has always wanted to find a black man that they could use against this other black man named Farrakhan.
Well, let me just bring this to bear. What real difference would it make for President Barack Obama, one, to go into jail and speak to people who are incarcerated, who have, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, you know, I'm not necessarily saying him doing it is even a good thing. You may give him credit, but I don't. But what I'm saying is that they're on the other side. When you go into jail, that's a different reality, a different world. Some people are in a 20, 30-year time warp when they go into jail. They really have they can't affect things on the outside. So him going to talk to people that are incarcerated is a net effect of zero on anything that's going on out here. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's safe to go speak to somebody who's in prison because they can't change anything out here. You get where I'm going with that?
Well, I mean, I'm going to say
But
from the standpoint of rehabilitation, how would you look at it? But go ahead.
From the standpoint of rehabilitation, for him to talk about that if they would, instead of spending the money on incarcerating people, to spend it, or that could be spent on education, the reality of it is that could have easily been done if you would have spent the money on real education. In the beginning, you would have never had to spend the money on incarceration. So it's like you going back and telling me something that could have been done or could be done with that money when you had the power to do it after the fact. So the fact that you spending $80 million is only a result of $80 billion is only the result of the fact that you didn't invest it in education in the first place.
True.
So it's like you going in speaking to somebody who really has a net effect of zero in their current situation. But he's not going to speaking to black boys that are what? Out of prison, who are perhaps in school, or he's not going to speaking to people that may be on a track to go into prison and putting some programs in their community that can derail that. You see what I'm saying? So if you fall for that trick, as you said, the handlers are saying it's okay to be black. That's not true. They're just telling you that you can speak to somebody who fits, who, I'm not going to say they're not black because I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that for the fact that they are where they are means that they really don't have an effect. And so it gives the appearance that he's doing something black, but really they can't affect anything. So that's all just another trick. Everything that you see in the media, everything that you see from the government, all of it, 100% of it is a trick. And if you're really not looking at it and you're not analyzing it and scrutinizing it, you will fall for the trick.
Well, I'm gonna say this of our brothers. Those people who are in prison, those people who are there, ultimately have a limited impact because after all, you're in jails. Not much activism you can do, not much work you can do because you're in, you're in a 6x9 cell. There's not too much you could do. There's a small circle of people that you can impact. But the thing that I will say is that as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan advised Barack Obama to use his bully pulpit as the president to advocate or be an advocate for the issues that confront his people. And in that sense, by this being something that has been highlighted by his attention to it, okay, now it is definitely late in the game because this is the last part of his presidency and he's addressed Israel, he's given Netanyahu more than he's given the black man in America.
But what did he say to them other than talking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened? What is he saying to them? Is he giving them some type of information that would actually help her rehabilitate?
I'm going to say this.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan comes into prison, tell you, some real talk.
Absolutely.
That will actually put some pressure on your mind to not just make you come out and try to stay out of jail, but make you reform your life. He reforms human life.
That's a fact. I mean, and we can't deny that. I do believe that some good will come of it.
I don't believe any good will come of it.
But I will say that the enemy is allowing Barack Obama to do what he is doing so that it will be a counterweight against what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is doing now and a counterweight against what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has been doing for years.
But if
Again,
it's a zero effect, if it carries no weight, how is it a counterweight?
well, well, first of all, I'm not saying what it
It's
what,
a trick.
right? But listen to what I'm saying. It is they mean it to be. In other words, if you mean something to hurt somebody, it doesn't mean that it actually will. But I'm saying that's what they're using him for. One of the purposes that they had for Barack Obama is to make a black man powerful enough to challenge the popularity of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, so that people will have an alternative to the doctrine that we have put out, which is separation.
But if they wanted him to counterbalance the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, they would have done it when his ratings were high when he first got into office. If that's what they wanted, they could have turned him out after 4 years. And then when his popularity was high.
Let's look at it like this. Well, again, his popularity has always been high with us. And keep in mind, I'm talking about black people.
I know who you're talking about.
His popularity is still high with black people. And that is the people, those black people, us, are the people that the enemies of God are trying to deceive. And they're trying to use a political figure who people admire to ingrain that deception. And just as when he was elected, a lot of us who had washed our hands with the system began to wave American flags and say, well, maybe the system will work. And then with the fiery serpents that the Bible talks about, angry white folks biting us now, and looking at the timidity of Barack Obama, a lot of us have kind of backed away from it. But here's the thing. Just because they mean it as that doesn't mean it will affect
I
that.
agree.
He has become unpopular with the few white folks who may have liked him.
Well, he's unpopular with me.
Well, that's true.
I didn't vote for him last time. That was it.
I mean, yeah.
4 years was all you were getting with me.
Yeah, look, I can perfectly understand that.
Yeah.
And look, Barack Obama has is of course he's the only sitting president who's visited a federal prison, but he's also the only sitting president that has openly bombed the African nation. So you got to look at both sides.
And legalize gay marriage.
And you see, well, the Supreme Court.
Well, he upheld
the Supreme Court. But again, as we said last week, there is no such thing as gay marriage. Well, okay, it doesn't matter if an enemy puts a paperwork on it. Gay marriage does not exist. It is not a reality. The reality of marriage is between a man and a woman. I'm not prepared to accept any other reality than what God has set forth. And as you very often say at the mosque and in public, you say that Allah, God, is the only reality. Yeah. And his way is the only thing that's real. And the proof of it is, as we said at the mosque today, that if something is good that you can do, if it is good, then everybody can do it. Right. Everybody can drink a glass of water. And we will all get health benefits if the water is clean. Right. We all can drink water and all of us will live. But if everybody did gay marriage and gay sex, after 30 years we'd all be dead. Which means what? We can continue to drink water because water's good. If it's good, then everybody can do it. All of us can breathe air.
Makes sense.
See what I'm saying? So if something is good, then everybody can do it. But if it's bad, if everybody does it, if everybody gets on dope, what's going to happen to society? It's going to crash. It's going to crumble. So the thing we got to realize is that gay marriage does not exist. And this move that Barack Obama has made, I'm going to give him some credit because that's justice. But at the same time, his handlers are trying to use this move at the very last part of his presidency only because there's a call for justice or else, and mass incarceration is one of the issues that Minister Farrakhan is talking about, and that the activists are talking about. So to take some of the wind out of our balloon, okay, let's let our $1 billion Negro go into a prison.
Well, I agree. I agree with that. That's what they're trying to do. I agree with that. Now, you also, I did kind of skim across the article or either the Facebook post, but my daughter said that there was some talk that's surrounding the president. I'm not saying he said it, but the whole concept of reparations for black people, for descendants of slaves. Now that if the handlers are allowing that talk to even be just, you know, something that's in the wind. Even if it's just something in the wind. See, the thing about I'm just gonna say Negroes, you know, we accept these hypocritical offers, just wanting to believe so much that white folks are gonna do right by us one day if we would just, you know, be good. Right, period. So if they would say anything about reparations, you know, even mention it on the wind, that would derail a lot of Negroes right there, thinking that they'd get, I'm gonna get $5,000 for you know 400 years of slavery.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this: most black men make less money simply because they are black than what they would make with the same education and skill if they were a white person. Now, when you look at the $20,000 or $30,000 that a person of my intelligence, if I don't, not to be too arrogant, would make if I was a white man, and you take that all the way back for 20 years, the over 20 years that I've been a college educated person, now with a doctoral level degree, if you would take that situation, and if I was a white person, okay, you're looking at $150,000 that I would make. They just reparations,
just for 20 years.
right, but just reparations for me and the racism I've suffered.
And
they would have to give me about $4 or $5 million just by myself. So what I'm saying is, nobody should go for no okey-doke, no $5,000 per person.
I'm telling you.
You know, that's crazy. But you understand. And what would they have to give you as a black woman with all the Judah faith? I mean,
at least a state. A city.
And that's what we need to ask for, some land.
Something.
We need to ask for land where we can govern our land ourselves.
No taxes. I don't want nothing.
That's right. No federal taxes. And these people take out taxes. They have a nerve to actually charge black folk taxes, and knowing that you're not gonna get justice. Now, I want to mention this: every time the Honorable Louis Farrakhan meets with somebody, the enemy tries to put that person in jail to constrain that person from helping. This is how you know that this cry is resonating with the people.
It's real.
Now, we have a video, and I want to show the whole video. I know it's gonna be long, but look. You got to get the information directly from God's man. I don't want to be in between you and the information. So what I want to do is make sure that you get that information. Get yourself ready to go to D.C.
10-10-15.
You probably want to get there at no later than that Friday night on the 9th.
Get a bus.
Get a bus.
Bring family.
Organize your church. Look, don't go to the doggone casino on a church bus. Go to D.C. Don't go to these stupid places, these stupid resorts where there's gambling on a church bus. Go to something that is going to edify you and be a life-changing event. Add your person, add your strength to that which will strengthen the future of your people rather than the doggone casino, the strip club, or whatever foolishness that we're involved in.
And that's the black, the brown, the yellow, and the poor white.
The Native American can come. The Latino family can come.
That's right.
Everybody, all of us who have been oppressed.
Yes.
Now, do we have that video cue? Let's go ahead and hear from Minister Farrakhan. He has a special message for you.
Greetings to you. I am Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is a special message to all of my friends in the rap community. My enemies have been stalking me and my work in the various cities that I have spoken in to advise us about the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, titled Justice or Else. And in many of my lectures, as I meet with the rappers, the pastors, the activists, the organizational leaders, and the common people, I have been watched by members of the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith. And in their stalking of me and watching those who embrace me, I've noticed that if you come and sit with me and I give you good counsel, good advice, the next thing I know, my brother rapper has been arrested. Such was the case of young Jeezy after he visited with me, after Sean Puffy Combs visited with me, after Rick Ross visited with me, and we embraced each other, and 2 Chainz and Young Thug. All of a sudden, they've done something wrong with the law. I say to my brothers and sisters in the rap community, this demonstrates to me the fear of the enemy who has covered me up for 20 years, not allowing me on their major television stations, not allowing me to be interviewed, and stopping me from talking in the various colleges and universities, never wanting me to speak to our young people. But after 20 years, I have been speaking now in colleges and universities, and they listen very carefully to every word that I say. And recently on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, when they see my brothers and sisters embracing me, they shudder with fear that the voice of the minister is now reaching the young people. The Breakfast Club interview opened a big door. Then the Sway interview, now Big Boy. Now others want to speak with the minister, and I certainly want to speak with them. What have I said that has you so upset? I'm speaking now to my enemies. Some have even written to me in text messages saying, look at Farrakhan, he's with these thugs, these immoral, these vile speaking rappers. You should be ashamed of yourself. My mission is the transformation of human life, particularly black, brown, and red life. So when you see me sitting with those who may have broken the law or been vile in their speech and degrading women in their talks and promoting thug life, don't be upset, because it's written in the scriptures that Jesus sat with the publicans and the sinners. And when his critics said, why are you sitting with them? Jesus said, is it not the sick that need a doctor? My people have been made sick in their journey in America under the sickest human being of all. The raper, the robber, the murderer, the kidnapper. This is who my people have been raised by, reared by. So when you see me sitting with my people, mind your business. I speak to them as their brother and as their spiritual father. So I want to say to my great rapper community, If you know that when you visit with me or take a picture with me, it upsets them, I know that they're trying to put fear into you. Don't associate with Farrakhan. Don't give him the value of your image and the millions of followers that you have. Why not? Why shouldn't they hug their brother, listen to their brother, admire their brother for standing up for them? You certainly don't stand up for them. They are not your business, they are mine. So leave them alone. Your day is fast approaching when the evil that you have poured on my poor and suffering people will be poured double, triple, quadruple on your own heads. So be careful how you treat me, and be careful how you treat those who want to come to me, that I may relieve them of the mental burden of your wickedness that you have imposed on us. And so, my brothers and my sisters, this is a sign to you. We've got to clean up our act. Be careful, because the enemy is setting traps for you, doing things that will anger you, doing things that will upset you, so that if you react in a natural way to fight with those who fight with you, or to stand up against those who are doing evil to you, then this is a way now to arrest you, to charge you with some wicked crime, to put you into prison. Well, soon they will be in a condition where none will be able to get them out of the chastisement of our God who is present. So when you come to me, know that I love you, and know that I want to see you and your life transformed. When you leave me, know that they're trying to find a way to hurt or to harm you. So go and wash, as Jesus said, and be clean. Clean up your life, clean up your act, and let us come together as never before, and let the enemy see that we are united for 10-10-15, the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, where the theme is justice or else. So to all my family of rappers and artists and musicians and sports figures, join me in Washington. I need your help. Ask those millions that follow you on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Ask those who look to you. Tell them, I'm going to be with Farrakhan on 10-10-15, and I want all my followers to do the same. Let us move on to Washington and demand the justice that we rightfully deserve from those who have the power to give it or grant it. But I must say, we're not coming depending on you, because if you don't give us what we deserve, which is justice and equity, then the Lord of creation says in the Bible, the battle is not yours. He's talking to you and me. The battle is mine. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So when I say justice, I'm going to tell you what justice is. And when I say or else, we will tell you all about that and introduce you to the God of justice, who will demand of you and force you to give us what we demand or take it all from you. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you and grant you all His peace. I hope to see you all again, and I hope to see you in Washington, D.C., 10/10/15. The cry is justice or else.
Have it, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan with that special message, and of course letting you know that a lot of those rappers who met with Minister Farrakhan and then the next day end up in jail has been a pattern, but that none of us should allow fear of the enemy to stop us from actually doing the right thing.
That's right.
A lot of us are going to be in jail.
That's right.
But it has to be for the right thing.
But you've been in jail anyway.
That's right.
You just ain't know.
That's right. And it shouldn't be for, a lot of us been in jail for the wrong thing. But now if you get in jail for being and standing with the man of God in our midst today, the man who has been the spearheader of the fight for justice, the fountainhead in our midst of a consciousness and an understanding that we have needed for so long, that is a cause that I would say has eternal implications. Because the kingdom of God is not in the sky. It's not in the sky after you die. The kingdom of God has to be established on earth. That's why Jesus says in the book of Luke, the kingdom of God is within you.
Right.
Well, I'm not in the sky, Sister Deborah.
Right.
Neither are you.
Right.
So if the kingdom of God is within me, then there's something that has to be cultivated within Brother Daryl, within Sister Deborah, within Brother Director and Sister Producer that allows the kingdom of God to be made manifest right here. And so the prayer that Jesus gave was, thy will be done on earth. Stop right there. The will of God is justice.
That's right.
And so thy will be done on earth means what? That we have to establish justice right here on earth, not after we die.
That's
but
right.
right here while we live. And this false ideology of a pie in the sky after you die has to be dispensed with.
That's right.
And we have to do something right now. And so, there you have it. The enemy is up to their tricks again. They're murdering black women, unarmed black women. They're basically spineless, gutless dogs that are literally going after the woman. And when you're a man and you beat on a woman, whether you have a badge or whether you have the authority to do what you do under the law, if you're that kind of spineless, gutless man that is tasering and beating up a woman, you're not a man at all. You have no character. And these people don't care about character and decency. They are not made of the same nature as I. They're not like me, otherwise they'd be doing like I'm doing. But they're not. So those are some of the things that we have to get across to our people as we move on to 10/10/15 and beyond.
Well, before we close, there's something that I want to deal with, what you said about fear. Because fear really is a mind killer. Fear constricts. Fear is a negative energy that will make you not do the things that you know that you should do. And see, the only power that the enemy has against us is fear. When you have truth on your side, truth always dispels fear. And so, it's just like when you walk into a dark room. If you know where everything is, you're confident. And one person said this, I'm saying it right quick, said that you can have a room full of a light and you can introduce a dark spot into it. It doesn't have any effect on the light. But you can have a room that is dark and enter one speck of light. And if you bring light into the darkness, it dispels it. And so the thing is that we cannot fear the enemy.
That's
We
right.
have truth on our side. So even if they try to threaten you with jail, they try to threaten you with taking your life, you don't have to be afraid, because that's the only thing that's going to stop us. This move towards 10-10-15 can be our exodus out of this system of control. And we cannot allow fear to stop us when we're right at the precipice of getting what our ancestors died for. And that's true freedom.
That's
And
right.
we cannot allow the enemy to make us afraid.
Well said.
He's
Sister Deborah.
afraid.
Well, I mean, that is absolutely well said. And I really, I hope that everybody has enjoyed this installment of the Community Defender. And I want us to continue to think and plan and act in accord with our nature as black people. And let us unify
That's
with
right.
those people who are our natural allies. And let us extricate ourselves from those who are our enemies and not take the enemies of God for friends.
Right.
That's the bottom line. And of course, I want to greet all of you as we came on, greeting you with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And may God continue to bless all of you and your families. Eid Mubarak to all of the Muslims who fasted in the month of Ramadan. And we're going to be coming right back at you with another installment of our beloved Community Defender.
All roads lead to Washington, D.C., 10-10-15.